Welcome to this episode. We're back at SEMA with AJ.
Hey.
So, guess what we found? A monster truck Tesla. So I love my Teslas, I love my Land Rovers, I love my 4x4s, and you made my ideal vehicle. So thank you for doing this. I look forward to taking the keys later on. Well, tell us everything about this build, because it looks like a monster truck. It's not, but it's still a Tesla, with also the monster truck geometry and structure underneath it, or probably more pre-runner?
Pre-runner,
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
all right. Tell us everything about it.
Well, we built this thing. We were looking at it there for a little while. My wife had it, and we were looking, and I've been thinking about doing one of these projects for a while, an electric vehicle, because that's probably going to be the future here coming soon, and these electrical vehicles can go places where you can't bring combustion vehicles, So for racing, it's really nice for places that need to not have such loud noise, or they don't want oil and gasoline or risk of fires and stuff. So these fit the bill. You can jump right in there with one of these. It works out great. But on this one, it was my wife's car. We built it for her to go off-roading, to follow me around in my trophy truck, when we go out to the desert and having fun, right? So we did a center pivoting A-arm system. We used the Pro-Am style spindles.
Okay.
I tried using all the components from the Tesla. So we're using the Tesla front and rear hubs, the Tesla disc brakes. We're using the Tesla motor. Pretty much didn't even touch where the battery location is at all. We created a platform under the platform. So basically, the Tesla is a platform with the battery if you look at their original design.
Yeah.
So what we did was we removed the front and rear suspension, the 4 bolts in the front and the 4 bolts in the rear. We removed it. Then we built a custom Chromoly chassis using our Sigmund fixture table. We got a precise custom measurements on the table and mounted it to the 4 existing mounting positions in the front and the 4 existing mounting positions in the rear. So basically bolts right on. We're using King IBP shocks all the way around. So that is one aftermarket thing we did actually buy. The car interior wise is completely stock. You still got your heater working, you have your air conditioner still works, everything, all the electronics still work. We're working on the traction control right now with Chewy from Kilowatt Customs, and we're working a little bit with the ABS. We don't know if we want to keep it or not, so we really off-road and give this car a good trial. We've done a lot of driving, with it so far, but now, we're going to really take it to the limit. We're going to go to Glamis for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
We're going to push this thing, we're going to take it through the moguls, to do some jumps. We're going to see if we can break it and try to find out
That's how you find the limits.
we're going to find the limits, right? And we're going to see what this thing can actually do. And then, we've been in off-road for many years. My father started the company in 1968.
Okay.
So he's been building dune buggies and been racing off-road for more than 50 years, so we've broken a lot of things, and we've learned a lot from, you break it, you fix it, you try again, right? So that's where we came up with kind of this concept. By all the years of building vehicles, we were able to come up with an idea on how to make this simple. And this build was pretty easy. We built the whole thing in under a month.
Yeah, this I just can't understand. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
and you run the shop anyway, so it's not like it was 3 weeks dedicated to this.
It wasn't. It was nights and weekends, and some of my friends came over and helped. The employees helped out, so that was a big help.
Nice.
King Shocks really helped out because no one's ever done coilovers on a Tesla, especially a Model 3, so it was hard to figure out the spring rates. It was hard to figure out the valving, but we kind of got it pretty dang close right now. So I think she's ready for the initial, the actual big test out in the desert. Instead of, right now we've been just taking it out in the backyard, driving it to the store and back, going on some off-road trails back there, because we have a pretty extensive property, so we have some trails back there.
Nice.
And we've been testing it out like that, bringing it back. And so far so good. It's been working great and hitting all the marks, The rear, on this, we did a really interesting rear suspension.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We redesigned it already once. But now we got it. It works just great. We were having some issues with some wear on the CV joints because I try to make the suspension perfect, like for an off-road racing car. But on this car, it gets narrow because the axles get narrow. So I kind of had to make the links track the axles. So basically we're working around the axles. We're thinking about going with some RBC axles in the future. And then we also been playing with doing like a 930 or 934 CV joints. So we can have a plunging.
Way more angle. Yeah.
Way more angle. We can plunge, right? But like I said, basically it's a bolt-on Chromoly chassis platform. Bolts on, as you can see, to all the
original mountings.
original mounting locations. See? And the shock tower is on its own chromoly cage. And the front also, we built a box like bulkhead to mount the shock. So basically you can unbolt this platform and you know, you can access the motor and the battery in case you need to replace them. Or hey, heck, you know, what if I roll the heck out of this thing? I can just easily just unbolt the body and get me another Model 3 and bolt it right on the platform.
Yeah.
Because the money's in the platform, you know, with the King shocks and stuff. You can pretty much pick up these Model 3s anywhere, you know.
Especially considering how much you've got rid of in the front.
Right.
Much left of it, yeah.
I just cut one up. I can even get a wrecked one and throw it on here.
Exactly, yes.
And you know, what really made us come up with this idea, what really originated this was my father was one of the first guys to build Baja Bug, you know, and I had all the old men at the shop like about a year ago, and I was asking them questions like, 'cause I wasn't alive then. Why did you guys make the Baja Bug? What was the inspiration, right? And what they told me was there was so many Volkswagens that were just smashing the front that they were throwing them away. And they figured out they'd give these cars a new life, a new lease on
Something
life.
with those Teslas, yeah. Excellent.
Right, I figured there's a ton of these Teslas around. We'll give them a second life. You know, you can get one of these platforms. You can do like a mid-travel, or you can do a long travel, you know. The next one we're working on is the Model X. We'll be starting that in about a month.
Before we talk about this, let's go back to the front and see
Yes.
how much travel you get in the front.
Of course. It can get 20 inches of wheel travel all day long, but I limit it. Right now I have it limited to about 15 inches of wheel travel, front and rear, because we want to test out the shocks, and we want to test out the axles. So first I limited the angle of the axles. We're going to run it. Then we're going to slowly, incrementally go with longer limiter straps until we find the breaking point of these axles. Once we figure that out, then we may upgrade the axles. But you know, I've been talking to a lot of people, and they're saying 12 inches or is enough. You know, for people that look like they're into something like this, they just want to rally it. You know, they're not. It's not a sand rail. We're not going to jump at 20 feet in the air and
Well,
land.
that would be fun though.
It would be a great time, you know. But I think more. This is like, I'm going to rally it around. I'm going to hit some moguls. I might hit a couple foot jumps, you know. But basically, I think that's going to be the extent for something like this until we get some newer technology. But you know, for the beginning, I think this is a good way to start. You know, now we have a solid car that we can actually go off road. That's going to work. You know.
Well, fantastic project. Did you consider doing this with, say, a Model Y?
Yes, you know, we consider the Model Y and X, but I wanted to start with the two-wheel drive vehicle first because I figured it was more simpler, and let's see if we can make it work first. First, you know, like I said, this is the prototype. Let's make it work. I've had a lot of people asking me, they want me to build them, and I take down their numbers and stuff, but I really don't want to start building them until I know that this thing's
It works 100%.
excellent, you know what I mean? And then we'll start building them. We have scanned the frame, so we've been drawing it on SolidWorks now.
Okay.
So we're refining the prototype, you know, because there was interest in it. So I figure we better move forward. And then, like I said, once we test it here in the next month or two, then we'll start offering them to the public.
Do you have a rough idea how much this would cost to build as a one-off and maybe longer term when you offer this on the market?
Well, I think, you know, with the shocks, you know, you can go with different shocks. We can go with a couple different components, but you're probably, for an upgrade like this, looking at about $35,000.
Well, it's not too bad considering it's a unique vehicle.
It's not too bad, and then, you know, you can always keep the platform. So when the vehicle or the motor or the battery wears out, you can just exchange those parts, and you always have your platform. So kind of basically, you keep the car the whole time. The parts that wear out or go away, you can replace.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, perfect. Tell us more about the Cybertruck you're trying to build.
Well, we're building the Cybertruck. We're working in conjunction with Unplugged Performance.
Yeah, nice.
They make really nice kits. They top of the line. Those guys are great, and they seem interested to work with us. So we're going to use their suspension and their wheels and a few other components, and we're basically going to start building it in about a month. And we're going to go test it, hopefully, I would say 6 weeks after, about a month before the Mint 400.
Okay.
And then we will be racing the 2026 Mint 400 with it, and we're all going to find out how well she does.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Going back to this, did you look into the range, the impact the modification has on the range?
We did look in it. You know, this thing usually has about a 240 mile range. So we're thinking about 100.
Yep.
We're going to get about 100 miles, maybe 80 miles, depends on if it's sand or dirt roads, you know. So far it seems to be tracking on those numbers with the bigger tires. So, you know, you're going to get 100 miles, you know, and like, you know, when we go to the desert and stuff, there's usually a gas station or a quick charger or someone running a generator all night. So I figure we plug that thing in, and then my friend from Kilowatt Customs has made these solar generator trailers that a couple guys are already using. He's already made a few vehicles where they converted Can-Am to full electric Tesla. And they've been working out good at Glamness. He's been testing it, and he's, like I said, he's working with me on this, so that's really helpful for me to get me ahead. It got me way ahead because he already spent 2 years figuring all this stuff out, you know, and he's a really great guy. And he's the one we're going to be racing the Cybertruck with. So it all works out really good, and with Unplugged, you know, Performance, I think it's going to be a great team. It's going to be I think we're going to put out a great effort here for next year's season.
Cool. Well, I look forward to visiting you once you're happy with this and when you start working on the Cybertruck. And I will take mine with a few lights on the front, maybe a roof rack. And if you can deliver it by next summer, that would be very good.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome, for sure.
Excellent. Really nice work. I look forward again to driving this in a few months when it's ready.
For sure.
All right, very good.
Hey,
thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, if you like what you saw today, let us know in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up. And guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Right on.
Would you believe me if I told you you can do a radical change to your car in less time it takes to supercharge your Tesla? Let's check it out. I have partnered with Halo Black to create a custom design that hides your old rim and replace it with a nice flush disc that not only protects your rims but also improves efficiency. First step is to install the hub. It just goes in. You can push this in, tighten it by hand. Then you use a special tool. Here we go. Next step is just to open the disc, and this one is the custom design one. 88 miles per hour, because when this baby hits 88, you're gonna see some serious. Next step is simply to screw this on, and because this is the right side of the car, screw anti-clockwise, and you use the tool to lock it in. And to secure the whole thing, you screw on one very last screw. All right, it only took 12 minutes, which is way less than it takes the Tesla to supercharge. So in the next few weeks, I will know if efficiency has actually improved. But in the meantime, you can order your own set of discs. And again, you can use any numbers, any letter you want, up to 25 characters, and use the code below. But more importantly, send us your photos of your Tesla with your Halo disc.